Good afternoon. I now call this meeting April 26. It's 2:00 p.m. for the Beaufort Board of Registration and Elections. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you. We are now at public comments. Do we have anyone to make public comments? If so, please come forward, state your name, and you have 5 minutes. My mic, can you hear me?
Not at all.
It's on. Speak. You gotta bring it closer.
Okay. All right, I apologize. Can you hear me now? All right, it's now time for public comments. If there is anyone here, please come forward, state your name, and you have 5 minutes. All right, there is no one for public comments. Now I would like to have a motion for the acceptance of the meetings from February 22nd, 2023. Is there a motion on the meeting?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second for the reading of the minutes to be adopted.
Madam Chair, excuse me, for the record, could you state the name of who?
Okay? We have, Mr. James Wedgeworth and Craig Pelly. Second. Okay, unfinished business, we don't have any unfinished business. We will now move to committee reports. Facilities report. Ms. Marie, do you have anything on facilities? Or you want to do it in your package?
I can really do it in the directors' meeting.
Okay,
So we can just postpone that.
okay. Finance? Same. No report. Legislative Affairs Committee?
We didn't meet.
Re-presenting Committee?
The Re-precincting Committee met on April 20th, 2023 at the Beaufort County Voter Registration and Elections Commission's office at 2 p.m. Present at this meeting were the following committee members and staff. Yours truly, Chairperson James Wedgeworth, Member Marie Smalls, Director Jean Felix, Staff Vernon Kemp, Staff Chris White, Staff, and Eileen Mitchell, Member and Board Chairperson. The purpose of this meeting was to discuss and provide an update on the current status relative to re-precincting efforts. The committee reiterated that the board unanimously agreed that the recommendations being proposed by the re-precincting committee at the most recent board meeting be accepted. That was done at our last meeting. The committee's goal was to identify the precincts with over 1,600 voters and divide them into multiple precincts with alternative polling locations when necessary. The committee recommendations were forwarded to the appropriate agency and/or the legislative delegation, and a law has been crafted to address the proposed new precincts. It was noted that the number of registered voters in Beaufort County has skyrocketed. Thus, many of the changes being proposed will mainly affect the precincts in the Bluffton community, where growth has increased exponentially. There are three primary reasons to reduce the size of these precincts. The first being to minimize the number of voters reporting to a location on election day. Secondly, to reduce the waiting line at the polling place, thus minimizing the length of time it takes a voter to vote on election day. And thirdly, to comply more closely with 7-7-710, which requires a reduction of precincts with more than 1,500 registered voters. In conclusion, there are 95 existing precincts in Beaufort County, and an additional 33 new precincts are being proposed. The job of the re-precincting committee involves the entire board. So we're asking you to consider the following task at hand. We need everyone to look for polling places across the county, not limiting your search to your district or your area that was assigned to you as a commissioner. We ask that you look at areas to house some of the newer precincts and to bring existing precincts closer to where the voters are. Thirdly, we ask that you recruit and recommend new poll workers. Fourthly, it was mentioned that Gene Felix will provide an in-person poll worker training that will spark the interest of many individuals interested in working at the polls. Heretofore, we had to go online for the training, and that was not very exciting to do the online training for 3 or 4 hours, but to have a real live trainer who is capable of injecting some humor here and there, it makes it much more beneficial to the person who chooses to be trained as a poll worker. In speaking with Marie today, a new contact method is going to be developed that would not require them to go to scvotes.org to sign up, but a new procedure whereby they may call a number or contact information down at the office on John Galt and choose to sign up in that manner. We ask also, number 5, that board members recruit volunteers who may work 4 or more hours to assist on election day. There are a lot of people that don't want to work 12 hours and be paid, but prefer to work as a volunteer for 4 or more hours. We ask that you sponsor a Each One Recruit One campaign for clubs, organizations, and community groups who may want to assist people who are members of those organizations who have a poll worker, may want to identify someone among them who may be diligent and want to be trained as a poll worker or a poll manager. 7th, we will continue to reach out to students who may want to become poll managers by providing more frequent in-school trainings and recruitment opportunities. Your packet, I thought, Chris, you had a copy of the law. Did you not make a copy of that?
No, ma'am, I did not, but I will send that out.
Okay, you will be receiving a copy of the draft that has been developed for the legislators to look at that would authorize these new precincts. And also, you have some maps that you may want to look at. This is not the entirety of the maps, but I have a whole book of maps that we looked at and trying to relocate, create new areas where people can go to vote. And it's very extensive. We didn't want to just, provide all of this today, but if you're interested in a full packet, you can let us know and we can make this available.
We do.
We have 2. We have these 2. At least I had these 2. Oh, okay. Because Cause I brought this one
Yeah.
from home. I didn't get this one today.
That's what we provided to everyone.
Okay,
But
so good. You do have,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that they have what I have.
yes, ma'am.
And, I thank you. We've really had a major, task to accomplish, but the work is not finished. I would think that we're finished when all of the newly proposed precincts are up and ready to go. And, it's 33 of those, so we're gonna need everyone's help, especially Mr. Wedgeworth over here, who's a
Can
realtor.
I give you a quick update?
Yes.
I've contacted Spanish Wales, and we're getting it where the Spanish Wales, which is old 10, Hillnet 10, is broken in two precincts, Spanish Wales community, and then everything outside Spanish Wales. I pretty well got it set up where we got two voting places, where the Spanish Wales votes in Spanish Wales, and what they call 10 votes at Grace Community Church, okay? I've talked with the head of Hillnet Plantation, and he's working on a plan where everybody in the plantation will be able to vote in the plantation. It's really confusing now, because the people up at the north are voting at the library, and the people on the left side in Cypress are voting at Hillnet PCA Church. And we're working out a plan where everybody in there can vote without leaving the development, you know, which will obviously be good. And I've contacted a couple other people, and looks like we're gonna be able to get some new polling places. And I've been trying to sell it. This is to the advantage of your voters, because they can vote closer to home. Probably won't have to stand in line as long, you know.
That was one of our objectives, and you achieved it right off the bat. But we will include this information in the notes, and we'll review this as a committee and staff.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Sure, you're welcome. Anyone else? Bernadette, do you have any questions?
No, thank you, I read through.
Okay, Mr. Craig? Nothing? All right. Okay, we will say thank you for a wonderful report, Chairman. It's, well done. We will now go to our Rules Committee, and I guess that will be tabled because there is no one here for the Rules Committee.
Madam Chair, in reference to the Rules Committee, now that we have Jean on board, who is also working with policies and procedures, staff is going to go ahead and implement all the changes that were proposed a couple of months ago,
Okay.
and put it together and combine it so that we will have a complete document and bring it back to the board, or send it out to the board for review, so that we can complete that process.
Okay,
And, you know, we don't have to necessarily wait, unless you prefer, on somebody to handle it on the board. Staff will do it, give it to you already done,
that sounds great. We will accept that.
okay?
Second.
Okay, any new business? No new business? Okay, now we will hear from our director, Ms. Marie Smalls. Director's report.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, the director's report, as soon as Wendell go to the next screen, you should have a copy of the director's report with you. We're gonna do the legislative updates, election updates, and facility updates, you know, same old things. But what I've included in your package are some of the legislative I guess, legislations that's been introduced since we met last. So they're pretty extensive, so I'm not gonna go through them in detail. I just wanted you all to have them, and I encourage you to go to the SC State House, scstatehouse.gov website for more details on these bills that's being introduced. All of them so far right now are in the committee, being referred to the Judicial Committee. And so nothing has happened. The only one that, if you go to the next page, Wendell, is House 4217. That's our bill for our new precincts. And that was referred to the delegation, to the Beaufort County delegation back on March the 28th. And that was also the same day the bill was introduced. So typically, we don't have a whole lot of issues with these, but this bill was introduced in the House, so it does have to go to the Senate for final approval. And all of these other bills that you see were introduced in the last couple of weeks. So there are a lot of stuff, a lot of changes that's being recommended for elections. And I'm not sure how far they are going to go, but I will definitely keep you all updated as, things progresses. So I know you didn't get a chance to look at them, but if you have any questions about any of them, if I can help to better explain them to you, we can do that on a personal basis, because I may not be able to address why it's being introduced. Like, most people want to know, why are they introducing this? I don't know. So, but I will try and find out information for you if you have questions. We did update the poll manager's training schedule for new poll workers, and we added 2 more classes. So now we have 4 classes scheduled for May, June, July, and August, one each month. And we are doing that because we know that we are going to need new poll workers, especially come 2024. So this is in preparation of 2024. We are going back to the in-person training so that poll managers can be engaged in the process of training. And we all agree that doing the online, it was sufficient during the time with COVID and all that we were being confronted with. But the time has come for us to go back to the old school method of training in person, which we think will be a whole lot more effective. So, during our training sessions, we are, like Ms. Beverly mentioned, we will be setting up on our website, it's almost there, not quite, where you can log into your training classes and enroll in any one of those sessions, and you will be scheduled. We are limiting our sessions to 25, if possible, so that we can better work with the poll managers. I think the smaller the classes, and when you go over 30, you're going to lose some attention. So we're going to keep it down to 25 and definitely under 30. So all the classes are being conducted at the voter registration office on John Galt Road, and that is so that all of the equipment that we use can be introduced to the poll managers during the training. All right. And we're looking forward to those. So please, let's continue to recruit poll workers. We're gonna need them 2024. We sent out an update to all of our poll managers that are in our database right now that we weren't sure if they still want to work, so we sent out a couple of emails yesterday, actually about 2,000 of them, to find out if these people are still interested in serving as poll managers in Beaufort County. And we are getting responses, and that's good. Some people have moved out of our county, so they're not even interested anymore. There are some people who say, yes, I'm definitely interested on continuing serving as a poll manager, and some said no. So that process is being done so that we can fine tune our poll managers database. And when election comes up next year, you all will have people who want to work and are willing to work, and they will be trained. Okay? So, facilities. I'm so proud of Mr. Wedgeworth for taking his assignment seriously.
I didn't know I ever took anything seriously.
So,
You
but
made an A+ on that one.
so we are all beating the bushes, and we're gonna be asking our community to help us as well. You know, we can't do it all. There are a lot of places out there that can serve as polling locations, but we're not using them, and we can't use them unless they give us permission. So we want to have, in Beaufort County, we want our voters to have a good experience when they go to the polls on election day. And we recognize no one want to wait in a long line for 2 hours to vote. So we recognize the importance of having more places so that we can have fewer people going to a particular place to vote. And working with these different communities, if there's a community center or even a church in a community that maybe you go to a church that wouldn't mind with a nice fellowship hall or a training center at your location, if we can use that, let us know, and we will definitely contact your pastor and or your community center leaders. We are working with our county as well to continue use of some of the county facilities, but with 30 new precincts, we're gonna need a lot of places. 33 new precincts. We're gonna need a lot of places, okay? So far as we have secured, Mr. Wedgeworth, you weren't the only one. We have secured Palmetto Bluff. We have a facility in Palmetto Bluff now, and we have the Battery Creek High School, who is also going to be working with us as a polling location. So we have, what, 3, 4 down, and many more to go. So, but, you know, I'm positive about it. I think I feel that our community will step up and help us in this venture. Update on our facility at John Galt Road. The plan is out there, waiting to be bidded on. Sometime at the end of this month, we should know whether or not, or who will have the bid. Unfortunately, I don't know a time frame on when the facility will be completed, but we are hoping that all of this can be done where we can move into the addition to our storage at our facility before the end of the year. So, you know we need the space, and we know in 2024 it's going to be a very, very busy year. So we're trying to get all this done so we can get back organized and be ready for our voters come 2024. We mentioned in our last board meeting about the polling place accessibility surveys that were being conducted, and I think all of them have been done except 2. So what that is, all of our precincts, polling locations that we have out in the county, typically every 2 years, we have to go out there and evaluate them to make sure that they are compliant, that they meet all the ADA standards, and all of that's been done for all of our locations except 2. So we are working on those 2 as well.
We gotta get the helicopter to bust it out.
Now, we're gonna take the boat. But we're working on them. So just wanted you guys to know that that project has been almost completed. And pretty much that's it. Yes, Ms. Butler?
In reference to the new poll worker training, scheduling, here are some during the summer. Can students come and enroll in those if they will be eligible to work, during the next election? Can some students come into those trainings?
Yes, ma'am. They will need to go through the same process as everyone else. They must be at least 16 years old,
Right,
16 or 17, because 18, they would be registered voters.
right,
So, yeah.
okay.
How-
It may be a good idea to get that word out to some of the schools, because that would be a prime time to be trained during the summer when they're
Yes, ma'am.
out and not necessarily taking classes.
Yes.
Well, what's the process for signing up, or?
Typically, we would send them to the scvotes.gov, and you can still go there to the scvotes.gov website and say, I want to become a poll manager, and click on Beaufort County. But we are also setting something up on our website to do the same thing. But they can go to the scvotes.gov website and fill out the information, and it will be emailed to us directly, and we will set them up
It's in my report.
for a training class.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Marie, for that wonderful report. Anyone else? Craig, you have anything? Mr. Wedgeworth? Okay. Now we're down to closing comments. I have a comment. I participated in a new class on leading effective meetings, and I must say that it was a very good class. And I am not surprised to see that, according to our instructor, we are doing everything right by having our agenda out and following the steps that was mentioned during the class. And I did make sure that I acknowledged that and let them know, because it's important when you're doing things right to make sure that everyone know that we here in Beaufort County, we are doing everything right by getting out our agenda early, notifying the residents of Beaufort County also about our meetings and what is going on. And that is very key. It was also noted that when we take our minutes, that we make sure we grasp the important topics, and that way everyone would want to continue to read on and not make it too wordy and get off subject, but just stick to the topic. And the 3 to 5 days, maybe that will work, I don't know, but she was just mentioning that it's good to get the minutes out that early, but we do get our minutes out in a timely manner, so everyone will be able to look it over. And that way, when they get to the meeting, they wouldn't have to be figuring out, well, I didn't know anything about this. So very good job, Ms. Marie and the staff. Very good job of giving us a great agenda that we've always had to work with and to go by.
Madam Chair, we were remiss to put on the agenda that we have some recognitions
Okay,
that you need to present.
okay,
And if you want to do it at this time.
sure,
Okay.
yes.
Christina?
Now I hope everyone can hear me as I'm standing, and I am so happy to present this certificate of appreciation to someone who knew about me before I really knew about him. And that person is Tyrone Ron Clifford. Mr. Clifford, would you come forward? It says, "For your dedication and service to the Board of Voter Registration and Election of Beaufort County and the state of South Carolina from October 2005 through December 2022. Wonderful job. And it's awarded this 25th day of January 2023. Beverly Smith Dorr, Vice Chair, Marie S. Small, CERA Director. Thank you for serving so well in our community, in our town. Do you have anything you want to say? Want to say something, please?
Yeah, I'll say a couple of words.
If
He
you,
doesn't
Why
need
you
a
didn't
mic.
make her use one up there? I can't see everybody standing here. Anyway, I really was talking to Chris some time ago, and she said they're having a board meeting, and she said, "Are you coming?" And I said, "Why am I coming? I'm not on the board anymore." She said, "No, well, you could come." And I thought, that would be fun, because I'd like to come and just thank everybody in here. I've worked with everybody in this room except Liz, who I just met, this young lady. But I enjoyed the 20-something years. What is that? 18 years on the board, but also about 6 years as a poll manager and a clerk before that. I've enjoyed working with everybody in here, and I want to tell everybody that I appreciate these are some board members that I know. I don't know the new ones because they just cleaned house, but that's probably not good terminology, but hey, I heard a deal this last week. In fact, I'm going to go from here to see a psychic. This buddy of mine went, knocked on the door, and they said, "Who is it?" So he left. Oh my God, this room's as slow as it always was. I'll explain that to you later. Went to see a psychic, knocked on the door. "Who is it?" He left.
right,
The psychic
couldn't
doesn't
be
know
a
who.
psychic if she couldn't tell who it was.
Anyway, sorry. I just wanted to thank Wendell, Chris for inside, and Marie for the inside help while I was doing this job. And thank all of you. And I just appreciate the time I spent with this whole group. Thanks. Thanks for this.
Miss Bernadette Hampton, come on down. Certificate of Appreciation presented to Bernadette R. Hampton for your dedication and service to the Board of Voter Registration and Elections of Beaufort County and the state of South Carolina from October 2018 through March 23. Awarded this 26th day of April 2023. Aline Mitchell, Chair. Marie S. Small, CERA Director. We thank you so much. And also, would you like to have something to say?
Good afternoon. I would just like to thank everyone who have afforded me this opportunity to participate in this capacity, and it is my passion to serve this community, and I have enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you so much.
because my glasses are sort of fogged up. This is for Mr. James W. Rowe, and he's not here today. But it says, for your dedication and service to the Board of Voter Registration and Elections of Beaufort County and the state of South Carolina from August 2009 through March 2023, awarded this 26th day of April 2023, Aline Mitchell, Chair, Maria Small, CERA Director. He's not here with us, but we appreciate all that he has given and done for Beaufort County and for the Board of Voters Registration and Elections. We'll make sure that he gets this, and that is the end of my presentation. Back to our agenda. Our next board meeting is scheduled for May 24th at 2 p.m. in County Council Chambers in the Government Complex, 100 Rebot Road, Beaufort, South Carolina. Is there a motion for adjournment?
I second.
It's been moved and properly second that this meeting has now adjourned, and the time is 2:37. Thank everyone for attending.